The early 21st century buzzed with talk of a hydrogen revolution. The promise of a cleaner, greener future was on everyone's lips, from scientists to policymakers and even the general public. The idea was simple, yet revolutionary. Harness the most abundant element in the universe to power our lives, without the harmful emissions that had plagued our planet for over a century. Fossil fuels, with their climate consequences, seemed destined for the history books. The environmental toll of coal, oil and natural gas was becoming increasingly undeniable, with smog-filled cities and melting ice caps serving as stark reminders of the urgent need for change. Automakers poured billions into research, imagining a future of clean, efficient hydrogen cars. Laboratories buzzed with activity as scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to perfect hydrogen fuel cells, which promised to convert hydrogen into electricity with only water vapor as a byproduct. Leading the charge was Toyota, a company renowned for its innovation and engineering prowess. They envisioned a world where hydrogen cars would dominate the roads, reducing our dependence on fossil fuels and cutting greenhouse gas emissions dramatically. They called their concept car the Mirai, a Japanese word meaning future. The Mirai was more than just a car, it was a symbol of hope and a testament to human ingenuity. It was a bold bet, a statement of intent. Toyota's commitment to hydrogen technology was clear, and they were willing to invest heavily to make this vision a reality. But like Icarus, who flew too close to the sun, Toyota's hydrogen dream would eventually crash back to Earth. The challenges were immense, from the high cost of production to the lack of refueling infrastructure. Toyota wasn't alone in their enthusiasm. Other automakers too saw the potential of hydrogen and joined the race, each hoping to be the first to crack the code and bring affordable hydrogen cars to the masses. Governments around the world, eager to reduce carbon emissions, offered generous subsidies and incentives. They saw hydrogen as a key component of their climate strategies, a way to meet ambitious targets and transition to a sustainable future. Hydrogen, they believed, could be the silver bullet, the answer to the looming climate crisis. The vision was compelling, a world where cars emitted nothing but water vapor, where energy was clean and abundant. The potential was intoxicating. Zero tailpipe emissions, long driving ranges and refueling times comparable to gasoline cars. It was a dream that promised to revolutionize transportation and energy. It seemed like the perfect solution, a win-win for both the environment and drivers. Families could enjoy long road trips without the guilt of contributing to climate change, and cities could breathe easier with cleaner air. But beneath the shiny surface of this optimistic vision, cracks were beginning to show. The reality of hydrogen technology was more complex and challenging than many had anticipated, and the road to a hydrogen future was fraught with obstacles. Toyota envisioned a world where hydrogen fuel cell vehicles would replace gasoline cars. The Mirai, unveiled in 2014, was their flagship. This sleek sedan, powered by hydrogen and emitting only water vapor, promised to revolutionize transportation. Toyota's goal was ambitious, to create a truly sustainable car ecosystem. They invested heavily in research and development, pushing the boundaries of fuel cell technology. Toyota aimed for mass production, making hydrogen cars affordable and accessible. They envisioned a future with widespread hydrogen refueling infrastructure, mirroring the convenience of gas stations. Their vision was clear, a cleaner, greener future powered by hydrogen. Despite the promise, hydrogen technology presented significant hurdles. Producing hydrogen efficiently remained a challenge. Most methods relied on fossil fuels, negating the environmental benefits. Storing and transporting hydrogen proved difficult and expensive. The gas, being highly flammable, required specialized, high-pressure tanks. These tanks, bulky and heavy, added significant cost and complexity to the vehicles. The fuel cells themselves, while efficient, were expensive to produce. The technology, reliant on rare earth materials like platinum, faced cost and supply chain issues. These challenges, coupled with the lack of infrastructure, made hydrogen cars a hard sell. While Toyota pursued hydrogen, a different competitor emerged, the electric vehicle. Led by companies like Tesla, EVs offered a simpler, more practical solution. Advances in battery technology dramatically improved range and affordability. Charging infrastructure, while still developing, proved easier to deploy than hydrogen refueling stations. EVs benefited from existing electrical grids, requiring less radical infrastructure overhauls. Governments, seeing the momentum shift, directed incentives and subsidies towards EVs. Consumers, drawn to the practicality and performance of EVs, embraced the new technology. The electric revolution had begun, leaving hydrogen in its wake. Section 5. Consumer Crossroads, Range Anxiety versus Refueling Woes. Consumers, faced with a choice between hydrogen and electric, increasingly favored the latter. The reasons for this preference are multifaceted. Electric vehicles, or EVs, have seen a surge in popularity due to advancements in battery technology and the growing network of charging stations. Range anxiety, a major concern for early EVs, diminished as battery technology improved. Modern EVs now boast ranges that can comfortably cover daily commutes and even longer trips. This has alleviated much of the stress associated with running out of power. Charging, while still slower than refueling, became more convenient with the expansion of charging networks. Home charging solutions also added a layer of convenience, allowing users to start their day with a full battery. Public charging stations have become more common, reducing the need for extensive planning. Hydrogen cars, despite their longer range, faced a different problem: a severe lack of refueling infrastructure. While hydrogen fuel cells offer a promising alternative, the scarcity of refueling stations has been a significant barrier to widespread adoption. Finding a hydrogen station often required meticulous planning and long detours. This inconvenience made it difficult for consumers to rely on hydrogen cars for their daily transportation needs. This inconvenience, coupled with the higher cost of hydrogen cars, made them a niche product. The limited availability of hydrogen stations and the higher upfront costs deterred many potential buyers. Consumers, pragmatic in their choices, opted for the technology that fit their lives, not the other way around. Electric vehicles, with their improving range, expanding charging infrastructure, and lower operational costs, became the more practical choice for the average consumer. The lack of refueling infrastructure proved to be a major stumbling block for hydrogen cars. Building a network of hydrogen stations is expensive and complex. Unlike gasoline stations, which can be relatively simple to set up, hydrogen stations require specialized equipment and safety measures. The high cost of development deterred investment, creating a chicken and egg problem. Without enough cars on the road, companies were reluctant to build stations, and without stations, consumers were hesitant to buy the cars. This infrastructure impasse hindered the adoption of hydrogen cars, limiting their appeal to early adopters and enthusiasts. By the mid-20s, it became clear that Toyota's hydrogen dream was fading. Sales of the Mirai, despite its technological sophistication, remained sluggish. The infrastructure rollout lagged far behind expectations, leaving hydrogen car owners stranded with limited refueling options. The dream of a hydrogen-powered future, once so bright, had dimmed considerably. Toyota, facing reality, began shifting its focus back to electric vehicles. While they continued to invest in hydrogen research, their mass-market ambitions waned. The hydrogen dream, it seemed, had been deferred, perhaps indefinitely. Despite its struggles in the passenger car market, hydrogen still holds promise in other sectors. Heavy-duty trucks, with their long ranges and heavy payloads, could benefit from hydrogen's higher energy density. Ships and airplanes, difficult to electrify due to weight constraints, could also find uses for hydrogen fuel cells. Furthermore, hydrogen could play a role in decarbonizing industries like steelmaking and chemical production. While its dream of replacing gasoline cars may be fading, hydrogen could still find its niche as a versatile energy carrier in a decarbonized future. The story of Toyota's hydrogen dream is a cautionary tale about the complexities of technological transitions. It serves as a reminder that even the most promising innovations can face unforeseen obstacles and challenges. Despite its promise, hydrogen faced significant technical and infrastructural challenges that ultimately hindered its adoption. The infrastructure required for hydrogen fueling stations was expensive and complex, making it difficult to scale up quickly. The success of electric vehicles, driven by technological advancements and supportive policies, further overshadowed hydrogen's potential in the passenger car market. Electric vehicles benefited from a more straightforward infrastructure and rapidly decreasing battery costs, making them more accessible to the average consumer. However, the story of hydrogen is far from over. While it may not have taken off in the passenger car market, hydrogen fuel cells have found applications in other areas, such as public transportation and industrial uses. As the world transitions away from fossil fuels, hydrogen could still play a vital role in decarbonizing specific sectors. Renewable energy sources like wind and solar can be used to produce green hydrogen, which can then be utilized in industries that are hard to electrify. The lessons learned from Toyota's ambitious endeavor highlight the importance of practicality, affordability, and infrastructure in driving mass adoption of new technologies. It underscores the need for a holistic approach that considers not just the technology itself, but also the ecosystem required to support it. The road to a sustainable future is paved with both triumphs and setbacks, and the hydrogen dream, while deferred, may yet find its place in the world. As we continue to innovate and adapt, hydrogen could emerge as a key player in our quest for a cleaner, more sustainable planet.